Hi, my name is Anthony Cruz III, and I am the publisher of the Capital Sports Report. This is a new opportunity to expand the Capital Sports Report by bringing live streaming to you with different guests that we have previously interviewed. This week, we will be joined by Terry McMillen. But first, I would like to bring in our co host, Susan Wade. She is a longtime sports journalist who we have interacted with over the years, and she writes with a variety of publications from Competition Plus to Dragzine to Auto Week. And now I would like to share this video.
Red line for Brittany. Terry McMillen is a top Fuel National Event winner. His last round victory in the last 6 races, he hasn't had one in 6 races. The last time he had won a round, he went to the final in Seattle, and he was devastated when he lost that one to Antron. So this is huge for that team. Congratulations, Terry, the entire Amalie Oil team.
We talk about pressure, Tony Pedregon. Brittany Force having Alan Johnson, Brian Hughes, and Monster Energy, John Force Racing, a big powerhouse team behind her. Just succumbed to it a little bit there as Terry McMillen gets his first national event win.
Terry, what was that moment like winning in Las Vegas just days after you got married to Corey?
Well, hang on a minute. Let me stop crying. But no, I'll tell you, it was simply amazing. The week before Corey and I got married, and that was awesome on its own. And then to go out there and run the Vegas race and absolutely, car was running great all day. The team, Rob, and everybody did a great job. And it was sooner or later it was going to happen. I never thought it was going to happen there. Never thought it would go that way. But, we were blessed to be on the winning end of that and to get our first Wally. So, that month was just huge for us, for Corey and I and Cam, and then winning the race Amalie. It was just a major accomplishment, because it's something that, I've raced a lot of years, and you've always had these dreams of winning these Wallies and doing it, but it's not that easy. Some guys, it's the Steve Torrances of the world and the Tony Schumachers, they make it look easy at times, but ultimately it takes a lot of work and a dedicated team, and it was just our day.
And when you won that, it was like 7 or 8 years that you've been trying in the NHRA to finally get that moment.
Yeah, it's the whole going back to the beginning. We were running IHRA back in the day, and we started running the fuel car there. I was running the alcohol funny car and the fuel car at the same time. And it was, we just didn't know if we could even compete in the NHRA. You go over there, and the minute you walk in the gate, you're out moneyed, because everybody's got 2 or 3 semis and, 15 crew chiefs and, 20 guys walking around. But, we went to a couple of races. I think we did 5 of them, and we qualified at every one of them. And so we thought we'd make the move, and we thought we'd be, ready for it. But we had setbacks. We weren't really as ready as we thought. But ultimately, things turned around, and man, we were able to capitalize on that first win. And you can't ever take that one away. It's just holds a special place.
Next, I would like to play this video.
Seven cylinders for both of them. Terry McMillen.
Just his second career race win. A win that no matter what happens, the rest of his career will define him. He is a U.S. Nationals champion. That's Rob Whalen that got him there.
Yeah! Oh, number 2! Yeah!
Look at the reaction from Terry McMillen. Terry, we were over by that board earlier where you used to worry if your name was going to be there at the end of the day. No matter what happens from this point forward on your career, you are a U.S. Nationals winner.
That's one thing nobody can take away from you. I tell you, winning the first race was huge. Winning Indy, it's a whole different level. And I tell you what, man, we're just blessed for Amalie Motor Oil and Flat Out Gaskets. Man, I tell you, I just can't thank everybody enough for all their support. The fans in Indy, man, I love you guys. What a place. Appreciate all the support. But, man, how about that? Indy. Wow, my son, love you.
Terry, they talk about winning the U.S. Nationals is life-changing. How has that win changed your life since then, in 2018?
Well, when you look back at Indy, there was at that time I was the 65th winner, and out of that, I think there was only like 27 or 28 different winners. A lot of them, the Don Garlits had his share, and Schumacher and all those guys, but to go in there and win that race that day, it was just, I still get the goosebumps and chills from just reliving that and watching the video. It was an exciting time. And I think that the one thing that no matter where you go and when everybody introduces you or whatever, they state that you're the U.S. champion, U.S. Nationals champion. And, that's, man, that is just, that's number one.
I'll also play this video, and then Susan will talk about
That's what make me cry.
this moment for you.
Incredible. Special moment a few moments ago as we take a look at our Junior Drag Racing League. These are categories driven by kids as young as age 5 up through 17. It's half-scale dragsters started by Vince and his son Dave Knapp out in Englishtown more than 20 years ago. And this is 5-year-old Cameron McMillen, Terry McMillen's kid. This is what it looked like when he sent his half-scale Amalie Motor Oil machine down the strip. Briggs and Stratton horsepower pushing him down. And listen to the crowd here. They give this kid a standing ovation, and why not?
This is a stroll in the park. These cars will actually get with it right here. This is pretty much an exhibition run, but I bet he can hear that crowd in the inside.
Coolest part about it was when he pulled the chute at the very end. Great moment for Cam, for Terry, for Corey, the entire Amalie Motor Oil Racing team here.
Yeah, you're going to see more of Cam on the track in the future, huh?
Yeah, we are. He loves this sport, and he's that's all he wants to do is race, and while he does other things, his main focus on anything is always about racing, and I think that he has a good future. He's got a good head. He doesn't get rattled inside the car, and he listens to directions. And we were in Reading when we ran that race there, and his car was running too fast, so he couldn't run any quicker than 20 seconds. So I told him, I said, when you get to the first cone at the 8th mile, pull the parachute. So it slowed it down to run at 20:09, I think it was. But if he didn't pull the parachute, he'd have been way too fast. We'd probably got in trouble. But it was just, he could follow those directions at such a young age. And he won a $500 bracket race this last year. So he's been to the semifinals quite a few times, and heck, who knows? It's this could be his year. He turned 8 now, so we can run the NHRA side with the 1190 motor, and then so we're looking forward to a lot of good stuff. And I tell you, it's just amazing to watch him develop and to watch him grow, and the fans, the kids that he races with. I mean, they all become a big family, and that's one thing about this sport that you can never take away. It's all about family. We don't like each other for 3 or 4 seconds, But at the end of the day, we're all there to help each other any way we can. If someone needed a motor or what have you, they would have it. And so that's what makes our sport so unique and so fun. And I'm just glad that Cameron has the opportunity to grow up in that environment because, the nice thing is I know where he is every weekend because we're at a racetrack somewhere.
That's true. That's a good point. But Cam has been sharp as a tack since he was 2. He could name all the drivers and knew all the cars and their sponsors, and he's just been absorbing this his whole life.
He has. It's funny because we could sit in a trailer when he was like 2 and 3, and we'd be sitting in the trailer, and then all of a sudden he'd say pro stock cars are running right now. You'd hear the difference of a pro stock car versus sportsman car, and he would know, and he was right. It's just or alcohol cars. He was just he's got a very keen ability to just be involved with what's going on in his atmosphere and pick up on things. And the thing is, he's like a sponge right now, and that's the really cool part because anything he learns, anything he sees right now, he's absorbing it and hopefully going to use it to his benefit down the road.
And we saw a few years ago, we saw Bob Bodie in the same spot you are now, and now his son's running funny car. And
that is so awesome. I remember a few years back, Bob and his son came down and he raced here at the local track, and we were just happened to be out there that weekend. It was really great to see him, but it's just a compliment of what he's done and getting his son entrusted into the car and making the moves to drive it, and he's done a great job. And heck, it's just interesting, and I hope that Cameron has the same path and decides to go racing in a professional level.
And right now, I think the junior dragster program is such a wonderful training ground, and maybe it would be really cool to see a little bit more of that at some of the national events. We do see some exhibition passes, but you think that might attract some more kids?
I think it would. I think that when we all know that NHRA has a time schedule. It's a minute and a half for every fuel car that goes down the track, and that's when they want another car going down, things like that. So I know that their schedule gets really, really tight. But if there was some way that they could ever figure out how to make a junior dragster elimination, whether it be a 16 car field or whatever 32, it would just be really good. And I think that they're our future, and they would all inspire to work hard to do whatever it takes to be able to compete at a race at a national level. And I think that just like looking at Cameron and a crowd cheering him on and pulling the parachute, and it was just really, it's overwhelming. But every one of those kids work just the same, just that hard, and they have to do the same thing, and they got to do it perfect. And because there's no do-overs. And I think that if there's some way we can bring that into the sport on a national level, even if it's a short field, and it would be huge. But right now, even if they get it to some divisional races, I'm not sure that they run a lot of divisional races with it yet. But I know that they do it some, and so it would just be good to see these young kids get involved, because then they can start focusing and creating their goals. And I believe, like Cameron, we try to have goals for him, like what's your short-term goal, what's your long-term goal, and how are you going to get there, so that he starts looking at directions and what it takes to get there. I hope they do someday. If they ask me to vote on, I'd be there in a heartbeat and voting positive. But let's hopefully we'll see what happens.
Terry, you talked about family, and this sport is so based on family. You see so many families racing together, and like when we come in, the media comes in to interact with you guys. We're treated like family for you guys. Like Susan, she goes to multiple races a year, and I only go to like 1 or 2. But you still treat me, and all the other racers still treat me when I'm doing the media role as family.
Well, and I think that's the unique thing about our sport, and I keep going back to that. But it's a twofold process. One is we talk to you guys enough that you become our family or our friends, and at the same point in time, the other benefit that it has is that you're going to publication with something somewhere. So it's helping all of our marketing partners and all of those things as well. But ultimately, if you neither one of you have ever printed something about me, but you still came into my pit, we become family. I mean, Susan and I have talked countless hours about just who knows what, you know. I mean, but I mean, it's just because that's just the way our sport is, and I think that you know, without you guys out there, it hurts our sport, because we got to have that press, we got to have that media exposure. While the team does its own thing, we're still, you know, certainly hopeful that your guys' hard work will get us into the, you know, the Speed Weeks and the, you know, Auto Week and all those different magazines and things like that. You know, and that's important. But like I said, first and foremost, before we even do an interview, I'd offer you something to eat and sit down and let's just have a cool drink, and then we'll figure out what you want to do from there. But you know, it's just it's a crazy deal. I was telling, I think maybe it was Susan the other day. It's like, you know, you go to a race and we see many people, and you know, and that's the one unique thing about NHRA is the fan base. It's the fans have driven me back to the racetrack more than anybody will ever realize. But at the same point in time, you know, when Susan's not at a race, or Anthony, you're not at a race, and we know you should be there, say it be Reading or what have you, it's like, okay, the first thing on Monday morning is we're going to find out where you're at, make sure you're okay. And just because it's just that mental note, you know, we, while we don't remember everybody perfectly, it's like, you know, I'll get in a trailer sometime or in a car and say, hey, you know, I didn't see so-and-so today. And, you know, and it's like, no, neither did I, you know. So then we'll get on Facebook and look it up and make sure everybody's okay, or nothing major's happened. But, you know, it's just because we just count on it. It's just like having a family reunion.
That's so nice. And the fans, by the way, are already checking in with us on this program right now. They're already giving you encouragement.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing like an NHRA fan. This whole sitting out thing has been really difficult, and I have to say that every day there's emails, there's Facebook posts, there's everything, and fans are just encouraging, or I can't tell you how many offered suggestions. Hey, go talk to so and so at this company or whatever. We need to get you back out there. So it was a collage of, you know, not just what we were doing, but it was also the input that we were getting from our fans and saying, hey, look, you know, go talk to this company or that company, and here's the contact, and let's see what you can do. And so they worked as hard as we did to try to get us back out there. And that is something that you just can't take for granted. That's just friendship and family at its best.
And if more people just knew about that atmosphere and that feeling and that sense of togetherness, that I think more people would have, the stands would be packed, it'd be overflowing. But you had a brilliant idea, I thought, to get like a social media influencer, some young person, like, you know, a teenager on the board of directors of the NHRA. I thought that was a brilliant idea. I don't know if they'll do it, but that was very cool. You're very media savvy.
Well, I think, you know, we have to, you know, you look at traditional marketing the way it was 15 years ago, you know, we were sending everything by paper and, you know, asking for meetings and all those things to have the opportunity to talk to a sponsor. And now it's like, you know, we do it just like we're doing it right now through a Zoom call, and you know, we're sending everything digitally. And so it's harder right now probably to sell a marketing program to somebody, because you don't have that face-to-face feeling. Even though I can see everybody, it's still distant. You know, when you're in that same room and you can hear the excitement and they can feel your excitement, you know, it certainly makes them more interested, I think, or at least gives you a better opportunity. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the way we're doing it, because it certainly saves a lot of money. But, you know, it's just I always like to read our partners that we're trying to work with and figure out, hey, this was a bright spot when we touched on this. How do we come back to that in a different fashion and make that work? So they might take even a harder look at it. So it's just, it's all about marketing. And today, you look at the Gen X and that audience today, they're young and they are used to playing video games or different things like that. So they have like what I call why Jagger said is the best gig in the industry. It's like ADD. We're always changing cars every 30 seconds. There's another pair of cars up there. You're not going to get bored with the same car. And I think today's Gen X group are more savvy that way. They're looking for the TikTok, the 20-second video. They're looking for different avenues that they look at it, they see what they want to see, and they move on. They don't have to watch an hour to get what they're looking for. They just want it right to the point right now, which is amazing if you can do that. I think that those influencers are what we need. We brought in Stephen Scher, a few 2 years ago, and here's a guy that has millions of followers and such a large influencer in the social media market. And the reason we brought him in is that one, him and Cam were already buddies on Facebook, but more important is that the result of him coming out to the races, doing a video, doing different things that we did up there with them, they went out to all 3 million of his plus the pass on rate, which is amazing. So the amount of people that we contacted or touched that one weekend was phenomenal. Astronomical numbers, whereas we can't get that every day. But if we had more of those social media influencers out there, I think that, and they came to our sport, when they have 2 or 3 million followers, it doesn't take long to get the word out. And I think the one thing we just did, I think it was Friday night, Corey put out a little TikTok video, and in less than 10 minutes, it had 6,800 views already. In 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where we have to work at today. I mean, we still have, I think, out of all the NHRA drivers, we have the largest TikTok following, and then certainly your Facebook and all that. But the key with that is that these guys, they just like those short informational type impact statements, and they're on to the next one. And so to reach out to them and get them involved in what we're doing and use their network as well is huge. And I think it's ultimately all about the network, and that we have to focus on that and build on that.
And your network has gone over the border. You may be speaking a little French this year because you're paired with Dan Mercier. So tell us about how that came about with Dan.
Well, it's first off, I want to thank Dan and the Mercier family for just taking us in and letting us race. But I think ultimately, we built a car for Dan. He bought one of our old cars, and we built that, and then he raced it a handful of times and really had fun with it. I mean, this guy's raced everything from boats to pro mods to nostalgia funny cars, A-Fuel. So he's got his hands in motorsports. He loves it. And that is just, absolutely phenomenal. But I think what really worked for Dan and I was that the family atmosphere. And I go back to this because he's got a young, baby girl, and we got Cameron, and we're just, we're all about family. When they get done working on the car, just like our pits, we all ate together. We all talked about the day and all that. So right off the bat, we kind of just had this mesh of just family values. And while racing is important to us, and that's, what we want to do, it's still about the family and the values that brings. And so, with running the National Event Series, you're on the road constantly. You're never home. I mean, and so your family has to travel with you, or you have to bring them into the races, because if not, you would hardly ever see them. And so we've always taken the approach that we're gonna have everybody involved in every one of my crew guys. Everyone can bring their family. they're always welcome. The kids are welcome. And so it's just made that atmosphere. I know most race teams won't allow that, but for us, it's kind of what we built ourselves on, and the relationships that we have with marketing partners and all that has certainly extended into that. And so it's just exciting. And like I said, I'm excited to go racing with Dan, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to eat good, and I'm going to learn French. Kind of the deal is this: Cameron has to teach his daughter English. Okay, she's going to teach Cameron French. And then Cameron has to teach her how to drive a junior dragster. And then when Cameron's old enough, he's going to get a Lamborghini for his wedding present. I think it's a great deal. I don't know what I got out of this deal, but Cameron's getting a Lamborghini.
You got 6 to 8 races. That's what you got, Terry.
I'm blessed too, trust me. But it's just that fun right there, when we can talk about the future of our kids and just the family atmosphere. And so just to be involved with Dan, like I said, we became friends before the racing thing even happened, and it's just dovetailed into now, hey, let's just go racing together.
How is this 6 to 8 races that you're going to do impact Dan's top alcohol dragster schedule that he may do this season as well?
Well, I can tell you a few things, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I know that he has bought a new A fuel car. He sold his other one. It was supposed to be done in November, and I might get fired before I get started here, but I've done stupider things. But anyway, long story short, I think the A fuel car is supposed to be in the next week or so, and then they're going to try to get it together and then go run Gainesville with it. He's going to run 6 to 8 races with it. With the fuel car, he's going to run a couple with the fuel car. He's got some match races up in Toronto and Grand Bend, and so I'm going to go up and I'm going to be the tire changer up there. But it's just going to be a lot of fun. I mean, we're going to do a lot of racing together, and then we're going to watch our family and our kids and our wives all intermingle, and we're just going to continue to grow, doing what we do, and we're just going to work on getting a few more of those Wallies.
Yeah, you got a nice collection behind you.
Well, it's no Tony Schumacher or Steve Torrance, but we did put a dent. We got at least one, or we just got 2 of them. So, and then we got a number 1 qualifier with Rob, and it's just, I'm excited to get back in the seat. I'm excited to go visit the fans, rather than talking on Facebook and or Twitter, what have you. It's going to be great to see everybody again, and I just can't wait. I mean, I wish we were leaving tomorrow to go racing.
Terry, the NHRA has been called a dying sport for so long. Now you have this new breed of racers coming in, with the street outlaws being so popular today. How do you think the NHRA should work with them? Because a few years ago at Raceway Park, Oak Ridge Township Raceway Park in Englishtown, New Jersey, the NHRA brought Big Chief out and said in a video, take your racing to the track and not to the street. How do you think the NHRA should work with them, because they are so popular today?
Well, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. Maybe you got one. You have the no prep done at racetracks. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Certainly, if anything, we could probably dovetail into that. You go to their events and they're packed. I mean, the stands are packed, and it's totally a different environment. And what's really intriguing is that this little short story, when they were running Pinks all the time on TV, they brought us in to have our car displayed, our top fuel car. And it was funny because all these people were coming in here to see the Pink event, but yet people are looking at like, why are these tires so big? Why is that wing so tall? They've never encountered a top fuel car, and then we made a pass, and then everybody kind of like got vibrated and shook and smelled and all that. And then there was a lot more people coming over. But my point being is that those folks just never really seen that side of drag racing. They just known it as the Pink show. And I think you have the same thing within within the Street Outlaws and No Prep is that it's a big market right now, and there's a lot of TV exposure, and I think somehow there's got to be a way to marry the two, so that we can draw from that fan base and they can draw from ours, and we can sit there and create a synergy that's going to help populate both of our sports, such as maybe bringing an 8-car field in. I know they've done it a couple different times, but we got to bring some hitters in, and it's tough because Daddy Dave, Scott Lutz, and all these guys are running constantly. They're if they're not racing today, they race 3 days and they're off a day, and so it's just they got a lot going on as well. But I think that somehow it would probably be a really smart and beneficial move to encompass them in what we're doing, and maybe even it's like maybe the Clay Millikins or myself or somebody, we ought to go to one of their events in the middle of the night and watch what's going on, and just we can cross promote, and I think that's ultimately what this is all about. We're not going to change what they're doing, and they're not going to change what we're doing, but what we can be the benefactor of is cross marketing and the exposure that each venue gets. And that, I think, could bring more fans to NHRA. And I think it certainly will help the fans that aren't following it or don't really understand. I know I've talked to a lot of different people. It's like, man, I don't get that Street Outlaw stuff. But I think that's just, understanding what's going on out there. And in the beginning, I think when it first started, I've heard a lot of stories, that they, in 6 hours, they might get 2 runs in, just because they're rehearsing everything. It's a little bit different today, but it's a venue that we need to grab a hold of and work with them and just cross market between the two of us. And I think that both industries would benefit tremendously.
You mentioned Jeff Lutz, and on tonight's episode of Street Outlaws, unfortunately, they're going to air his crash with the 57 that happened back in May. And this is a very dangerous sport, not only when we do it on the track and they do it on the street. Could you talk about the safety that goes into play for all the drivers, including yourself, to make this sport so safe for everyone?
Well, I think, and that's just hats off to NHRA and their safety committee and certainly the SFIs of the world and all the people that, designed this. And today, you look at cars today versus 10 years ago, today we have computers out there that can tell you where the weak point's going to be on the chassis based on this at X amount of speed. And so the technology of the computer has come so far that we're able to build a better, safer car today than what we've ever had. In the same breath, it's it's all about making sure that we have the technology to keep these cars safe. And I think NHRA has done a great job of staying up with that. I think that the one problem that we're kind of running into is these cars are running a whole lot quicker today than they've ever did. And I think that, some of the tracks are kind of landlocked. And so it's starting to be of a concern. So I think NHRA is taking steps to make sure that these cars shut off safely and all that. They have a device on these cars now, a radio, that when the car gets to the finish line, and if you haven't pulled the parachutes and stepped off the gas, it'll do it for you. It automatically sends a radio signal and disconnects everything. So, such as a Scott Coletta situation, that would have made a difference then. So I think that as technology continues to develop and the safety aspect of things continues to develop, these cars are more and more safer than ever before. Now on the side of the Street Outlaws and all that, they're not running. They got pro mod cars literally trying to run, 380s, 4.0s, and on a non-prep surface. And hats off to those guys for doing such a great job of getting these cars down the track. But the minute one of those start getting out of shape, it's pretty much going to be a bad ride. But again, if you look at it, nobody's getting hurt. They're tearing up stuff. But these cars are built well enough today based on the information that, we have to build cars on that, they're doing their job.
Paige Coughlin wants to compete with the Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings. She is going to be a future outlaw. Would you, if you had the opportunity, be interested in competing in an MPK event if the NHRA allowed you to compete in the MPK event in the future?
Absolutely, 100%. I think that I think it's great. It's about cross marketing all of us. It's not just Terry McMillen or Paige. It's cross marketing everything that we all do, and I think that when you start doing that, it's going to make both boards stronger. And I think that I would do it in a heartbeat. I mean, I have a couple cars here that probably can maybe go play. I don't know that I don't have a Hemi yet with the Pro Charger on it, but I can work on that maybe. But ultimately, I think that these guys they're stars, and that's one thing I think Discovery's done very well at is they made stars of everybody. Whether it's Chuck or whomever it may be, they've made stars out of these guys, and they're making a lot of money doing it, and they're having fun doing it. I mean, it's grueling. It's all of those things that we do, just like we're running the NHRA tour, but ultimately, they get paid X amount of dollars per episode, and they're making great money doing it. I mean, heck, you do a couple, 3 or 4 nights of racing, and they're making some serious money in comparison to sometimes maybe more than what we get for qualifying or winning a race even perhaps. So I think that I would do it in a heartbeat. I still have that fire to go do that, and sooner or later it will happen. I'm just not sure when.
Terry, let the fans know what you were doing for the past few months that you were away from the track, and you have this friend that lets you drive tractor pull.
Yeah, my neighbor Phil, he's it's funny. He's had the tractors. I've looked at him before, and we've helped him in different areas sometimes. But he said, "Hey," he says, "what do you think about trying to get on a tractor?" And it's like, I'm thinking, okay, So long story short, we went over to his house a few times, and got him started and kind of worked on the engines a little bit, and just kind of picked at things a little bit, and trying to learn more what you should do and not do. And long story short is, the first time, in a drag race, it's like we feel the tire spinning. It's like we want to let off and get that thing to bite again. In a tractor, it's a little bit different because you got to maintain X amount of wheel speed. That keeps the dirt off the tire and kind of hooks it up. But the first time I went out there, it's like, man, I hit the gas and the motor's just, going, and then it just blows the tires off. And it's like, man, I pedal it, I get back in it again, and it bites again, it starts to go, and it blows the tires off. And the motors just sound like they're ready to come apart. There's 3 of them on there. And so anyway, I think we went like 218 or 220 feet, whatever it was. And anyway, so I learned, I watched a little bit more, and then we went out again. Our last one, we pulled 298 feet, with the tractor, and just had a lot of fun doing it. It's just getting used to what that machine is telling you. It's a book. It's giving you the story to read. You just have to figure out how to use it to your advantage. And we went the furthest the tractor's ever been in a pull, and and I, like I said, I can't thank Phil enough, because it was just great having 3 motors in front of you and hitting the gas on it and hearing the noise and the vibration that we're used to. So it was a lot of fun, and we're going to do more. So it's going to, at least I say we are. Hopefully we are. But that's our plan anyway, is to go out there and run this tractor and do some more stuff. So I mean, I'll drive anything as long as it's got 4 wheels.
You talked about the sensation, the feeling with that tractor pulling. And when I talk to a lot of the drivers, especially in like Top Fuel or Funny Car, especially the dragsters, they say that they feel the sensation, they feel everything like through their butt, and that's how they're able to tell something may be going on.
That's true. Welcome back.
Thank you. I missed you.
Yeah. I mean, you do, because it's the minute you hit the gas, you can feel the tire biting, or you can feel it. If the car starts to raise up, it's about ready to blow the tire off. So you can pull a brake or whatever you're going to do, whatever your choice is at that time. But there's things you can do, but you definitely feel all of it through your butt, and it's just amazing how your butt is connected to your hand and your arms and legs, because it's like it just automatically does it. It's like you get to the end of a track on a run, and it's like, someone will say, well, what'd you do? I said, well, I think I did this, because it's just automatic. Your body goes into this mode of just doing what you've been doing forever, and it draws from all those experiences, and it just allows you to make those adjustments and or changes. So but yeah, it's I got this little story. It's kind of like, I'm old, I'm fat, I'm wrinkled, right? I mean, what do you want when you're 90 years old, right? But one thing about a top fuel car or funny car or any of these cars that accelerate extremely hard is that the minute you hit the gas, every wrinkle, every ounce of fat is on the starting line. I look like I got a body of an 18-year-old, and it's awesome. I thought about selling it as a diet program. The problem is it's just too pricey. But the point is, it was just awesome. I had a little mirror on the dashboard. I get down there and get to half track somewhere around 290 miles an hour. Look down at the mirror and say, man, this is youth. I got it figured out, right? This is awesome. And so, we're charging to the finish line. You get to the 1,000-foot marker, and it's like, man, this is amazing. Now you got to stop. So the minute you pull the parachute, let off the gas and pull the parachutes, well, you pick up a passenger. It's the Pillsbury Doughboy, because every ounce of fat and every wrinkle came back 10 times worse because of the G-force going the other way. So that's what you feel, when you're in this car. It's like you get plastered for a long time, and all of a sudden you get to the end, and everything just kind of just goes forward on you. So, I wouldn't trade it for anything. There's nothing. I've flown a plane and different things, and there's nothing I've ever done that can give you that sensation. Nothing.
Daniel has a question for you. Would you want to try a micro sprint sometime? Cruz Pedregon recently at the 2022 Chili Bowl Nationals got back into a sprint car and competed, but didn't make the A main on Saturday. Would you be willing to try that one day?
Sure. I like I said, I'll drive anything. We did a promotional deal with All-Star Performance Lane Automotive, and we went Labor Day weekend. We always went over to, Memorial Day weekend. We always went over to the Speedway, and we'd run the event on that Friday night. So they'd give us a car to run and all that, and we just go out there. My crew guys got to compete in it as well. And so it was just a lot of fun to go out there and race these guys that do it every day for a living, for fun, but it was just a great privilege to do that. And yeah, I liked it. And I did okay doing it. So I'm thinking that I would try anything.
Thomas says, "How was tractor pulling?"
Oh, tractor pulling is good, man. I love it. It's I got a lot to learn. I think I probably have a total of 4 hits on it, but we're getting it down the track, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to build on this, and done a great job of tuning it and getting this tractor ready to go. And so if somebody like me can get on the thing and make it to go down the track, then heck, anybody can do it.
You have to go talk to Mark Thomas about tractors, right?
Yo, man, he's got some tractors. Does have some tractors.
And we're talking about Mark Thomas, our friend from IHRA, our funny car champion over there. 6-time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a bunch. He had a good hot rod, and he's just an all-around great guy. I know he wants to come out racing again, but I just think that he's getting a lot of resistance from the other half. So, but he'd come out racing again if he could. He called me and asked about running the fuel car.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's awesome. NHRA would just, what a personality that would be in the NHRA, right?
Right. I mean, that's what you got to have. You got to have those guys that just are flamboyant like that. And but one thing about Mark Thomas, what you see is what you get. And he's whether he's farming, whether he's racing, that's just the way he is. And he's sincere about everything he does. And so, I mean, that's pretty amazing.
And he's a pretty awesome guy, but
yeah,
we've got a lot of really awesome guys. So I just want more people to know that. That's where Anthony and I come in, I guess. We get to tell everybody.
First off, I wanna wish you and say congratulations to hosting your first show tonight. I think that's awesome. And it's you guys are a great team. I think there's a lot of knowledge and information there between the two of you that this show is going to take off and it's going to get some legs underneath it. And you guys are going to have a winner on your hands. And I'm excited for that because you're great people and you certainly deserve that for all the work that you've done within the industry. Now it's time for you guys to shine.
Oh, but Anthony's the guru. Anthony's the tech wizard, and as you can see, my computer blipped off. So obviously, it's a good thing you didn't put me in charge of technology. So,
well, every once in a while, I reach over and put 50 cents in to keep my internet going, but I'm all right.
Drop a quarter in the basket or something.
That's
right?
it. That's it. Yeah.
Susan wanted to ask you, Terry, about Tony returning.
Oh yeah, you and Tony are kind of in the same boat. You sat out for a little while, and now you got to come back and prove you can do that again. So the U.S. Nationals win was validation that the Vegas thing wasn't a fluke. Tony has got to prove he's still got some, as Antron puts it, stank in the tank. And the first question about Tony coming back is, do you think you, like Tony, have things to prove? And how will you be rusty? I don't know.
I don't know that we have things to prove. I think it's just our desire and our passion, at least on my behalf, to continue doing what we love, and that, with respect, you're fairly decent at what you're doing because there's only a handful of us doing this. And I think that he may be rusty for the first pass, but I doubt it. I mean, it's like riding a bike. He's not going to forget how to drive the car. And he's got a good team underneath him again. And so I look for a lot of big things out of that group. And I think that, Tony's going to go out and show you why he's been the multi-time champion, doing what he does because he's good at it and he has a passion and desire. I mean, he's talked to me, I don't know how many times, he's come around, we've been running and different things like that. And just always offers a hint or a tip or something like that. And, he's a good guy and, he's got nothing to prove to anybody. He owns all the championships. You know what I mean? But I think for him personally, he's got to get back in the car and do what you got to do. I could walk away tomorrow and probably say, well, okay, I ran my course, but ultimately I want to get back in a car. I want to do it just because this is what I love to do. And it excites me to have that opportunity to do it. And it excites me to go out and see the fans and do all the media stuff because that's what you've trained yourself to do now, for so long that it's like, I don't want to do anything else. It's, so you work an 18, 20-hour day, but it's not a job. It's what you love doing. So it's totally different. If I had to go work at a dentist office for 20 hours, I don't think I'd be a very happy guy. But I could have a bad day of drag racing, and I remember in Charlotte, I blew it up really bad. And at the end of the track, I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then turn around. And by the time I got back to my pits, the fans were there and they just gave me all the encouragement. And heck, Sunday on our way home, it's like, okay, we got to order this, we got to order this, and we got to order this just to go back out there and race that car. So it's like, I keep going back to that, but that's the driving force for me is that the fans for believing in me and just being there for us when we've had our difficult times has been something that you can't cherish. But I will tell you that Tony's not going to have any issues, and he's gonna go out there and show you why he's a champ.
Larry says, "Will you be in the same car as you drove at the end of 2020?" But that should have been 2019.
yes, I'll be in the same exact car. And I'm looking forward to that because that car's got a lot of technology things that, that Rob and the team we've put together in that car to make it do, run the way it does. I mean, that car is the best 60-footing car that we've ever had. And that's just basically, because of the design of what Rob did and working with some other structural people and what we can and shouldn't do and try to change stress points on the chassis. And when we did all of that, then all of a sudden you get in that car and it's like, man, it was just no effort. The car, we didn't have to run the car hard. We didn't have to do anything like we were normally doing with the other cars, trying to get it to 60 foot or whatever. So, it's just a compliment to the whole entire team of getting that car ready and the design of that car. And now it's going to be even more awesome now to get back in it and hit the gas on it, because we left off at a spot where we had a lot of potential and opportunity to do extremely well.
Who built that car? Was that a Schumacher car, or was that
It's in-house. We did it in-house.
Oh, you did it yourself in your shop?
Yeah, Rob Wendland. Yep. Yeah, we did it all in-house. That's the first chassis that we built. We decided to just take it to a different level and learn from some of the things that we've seen on the other chassis. And so then we went to design ours and build ours the way we did. That technology, we utilized that, and man, it just paid off.
Did it cross your mind to maybe get into that, like some of the other teams have gotten into that?
Maybe one. From the looks of it, it's hard to see, but maybe one has done what we set out to do in the beginning, and I think that that was, for us, it was the key, because the one thing we had an extremely fast car, but it wouldn't 60 foot. No matter what Rob gave it, no matter what he did on the tune-up, that thing would not 60 foot. Now all of a sudden you take the same car that's 60 footing, and now all of a sudden it starts running 60s. And that was the only difference, was the 60 foot, because whatever it is, that all happens there. It starts there and then, times 2 down at the end. So it's a big number when you start looking at the end results. And, so that's just a compliment to Rob and designing, what he did there and putting it together and orchestrating it. So it was pretty cool. I'm not going to share the secrets, but it's pretty awesome.
Then you'd have to shoot us, right?
Yeah, no, I don't want to waste a bullet. I might need that someday, but no, it's just it's just a good car. We have some unfinished business with the car, and now with Dan on board, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that we're going to have a lot of great times, and I think we're going to go out there and upset things. We're going to turn the apple cart upside down a few times, just because I think the car will do it, and we'll be able to go out there and run as hard as we need to run, and work on getting these round wins, eventually getting an event win. I owe Dan a NHRA Wally. He needs an NHRA Wally from Top Fuel, so that's my goal.
Well, it's like our friend Josh Hart. He went out there and made people go, oh, well, I guess Steve Torrance isn't the only driver out there, I mean, he mixed it up, and I know he wants to do more of that this year. There'll be a lot of you guys wanting to go out there and just spoil everybody's day.
Well, I think the real neat thing about this year, at least adds excitement to me, is that when you look at our sport today, DSR is kind of only Tony Schumacher today and a couple supercars, but my point is it's only Tony Schumacher. And what happened to everybody is that there's a lot more independent teams out there today than there has been in the past. So now your only conglomerate is John Force and the Coletta camp, per se. And so you look at that, and it's like, if there was a time to capitalize on our sport and our drivers and creating superstars, it's now, because you have the Antron Browns on his own. You have, the Ron Capps. You have all these, Leah and Matt, all on a different umbrella today. And they're not making their own parts. They're having to buy it, and they have to do all the things that it takes to be winners, and I think that's the exciting the part about all of this. I see Corey's answering somebody's question. So anyway, yeah, but I think that, it's all good. It's all going to be fun.
It's funny. Don Schumacher was saying the other day he thinks the multi-car teams are here to stay, and that's the wave of the future, and not the independents. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, I think it's a true statement in the fact that we still need multi-car teams, because we got to have, you look at the Force camp and you look at the Coletta camp, they're very, very strong. And Don Schumacher and John Force, at least I can speak for this, when we had a situation, we wrecked a car in Houston, those two guys were the first two guys over to my pit saying, anything you need to get back on the track, it's yours, come get it. Don gave us a car. I mean, it was just on and on and on. And what I think most people never really see is the side of Don Schumacher or John Force and all the people that they help. And so we still need the big team because, unfortunately, I wish I could have a big team. Everybody wishes they could be a big team, but it's not the real world. But what's really fun is that when you go out there and beat those multi-car teams, and you go out and beat them and you end up winning at the end of the day, it just makes it that much sweeter. But I still believe that we have to have, the Penske's of the world in sports, because you got to have a backbone in the sport. And I think that, it's nothing's more impressive than walking through the DSR or Coletta camp, looking at all the hospitality trailers and all the different companies that they're representing. It's pretty impressive. It's way impressive, And so when you're looking at marketing in a particular sanctioned body, you would have to say that's pretty impressive, And so maybe we ought to come over here. Maybe we need to look at this. And I think that's why you still need the big teams out there, because you got to have that footprint. We all want to be big teams. Some of us will hit it, some of us won't.
Talking about big teams, the Torrance team is so big right now. Four straight champs, 4 straight seasons with a championship, but they do so much for the little guy that most people do not even know about this. They like discount parts to the little guys, the little teams, for them to compete against.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that Steve Torrance Racing and Bobby Lagana and Dom and all them, they do that, and that they helped us out more than I could ever tell you. I've never bought a new block in Top Fuel ever. In 20 years I've raced, I've never bought a new block. I've always bought someone else's used stuff, But like when you get stuff, like that, it's it's good coming from those teams, because they're not out there to set anybody up for failure. And like you said, they help a lot. And I forgot to mention them into that, because they do a tremendous job, and they were a huge part of where we were heading, going down the racetrack, is that, buying the parts from them and even the support. I mean, we could talk to them, ask a question, and we would get an honest answer. It wasn't one that was, smoke and mirrors, it was like, try this and it would work, and I think that, Bobby Lagana has done an amazing job. And there's a guy that's just an unsung hero, because he helps so many people just with his ability to tune a car and run a car. And then to have him, working with this Torrance's, it's definitely created a great opportunity and atmosphere within our sport. And my hat's off to them, because I can't say enough. Steve Torrance and I and our great friends, and I know that Cameron, he loves those guys as well. They love Cameron, and so we're looking forward to getting back out there and hanging out with everybody again. But yeah, they help so many people. It's amazing.
Steve said it Pomona last fall. He said, "I'm the sheriff now." So it'll be interesting to see, with all these people and all these teams and all these new, everybody coming at it from a different angle, and Tony Stewart out there. It's going to be really interesting to see how hard it's going to be for Steve Torrance to hang on to that. That's because it's tough to get it once, let alone 4 times or 5.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They're a well. They don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves, and they do a fabulous job of what they do. And that's because they're surrounded by great people who have been there a long time. You know, I mean, they don't have a lot of turnover. They have each crew member knows what they got to do, and they go out there and they, you know, do their job flawlessly, and the car goes out and just wins races. I think that it's going to be tough, and it's like I kept going back to earlier. It was the NHRA needs to benefit or capitalize on this and make the stars of everybody right now, if there was ever a time to do it, because it's going to throw a lot of different angles at the race, just like, you know, you were alluding to, Susan, that you can go out there now and you know, Leah can get you, you know, Tony can get you. There's all kinds of cars out there. We can, you know, there's all kinds of stuff out there that we can go out there and throw at people. And you know, when you have multi-car teams, it's a benefit because every run that one car goes on the track, you're doubling the information, you know, so it makes it a little harder to compete sometimes, you know, but eventually, you know, you get it figured out and you go down the track and you have the opportunity to win. I just think that right now it's probably in the best position it has to promote our sport based on a lot of the new teams and different approaches of who's going to go out there and how each team is going to take, you know, what course they're going to take to try to go out and win a championship or dethrone Steve Torrance or, you know, or whomever. It's just, I think this is prime time.
Terry, do you want to answer Kevin's question there? Any idea what the wrap will be on the car? I don't think you're maybe allowed to reveal that yet.
Yeah, you know, I wish that I'd have that answer, but we're you know, Dan and I are kind of like in the walking stages, right, trying to get everything designed and figured out what races we're going to run. You know, some of his crew guys are coming up next week. They're going to be up here for the week. So there's a lot of working pieces in here that we're dealing with, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we can make some announcements, perhaps of what races and things like that we plan on doing. But right now, you know, it's just trying to get everything covered and lined up and go out there and compete.
Susan, do you have any final questions for Terry?
Well, you know what? I'm not sure what all you covered when my computer blipped out. So
I talked about the Street Outlaws.
Street Outlaws. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? There's so many opportunities.
And tractor pulling. Can't forget that one.
Yeah. I heard the tractor pull part. I was here before my computer got pulled away from me. So, but yeah, no, I just wanted to know, you know, if you know, if you're ready to rock and you're gonna come out of the gate. And I just love the fans have asked all these cool questions, because that saves us from asking them too. So, but anyway, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, we're. Well, I mean, we'd love to hit the ground and go to Phoenix and test, you know, if it was doable. But right now, we just have to make sure that we have everything organized, the team's organized, and a direction, and make sure that we have all the bases covered. Because it's like, you don't want to go to a race and then have, you know, problems because we're not assembling the car together right, or we don't have the parts that we need to do something. We want to make sure that we're prepared, because we're only going to have, you know, 6 to 8 races to go out there and prove ourselves this year. And I want to make sure, and as Dan, we want to make sure that we go out and represent the best that we can, whoever the marketing partners are going to be, and whoever, you know, and whatever races are going to be. I just think that right now, I'm chomping at the bit. I got my driver's suit out. I'm sending it out to the cleaners tomorrow, so we're ready to go.
That's all. Do you make a dry run with the crew, because you haven't worked necessarily with all the same people all the time? So do you do a dry run of how you service the car or whatever?
We will, yeah. I mean, Dan has a group of guys up in Quebec right now, and they practice on Saturday, working on the car and assembling and disassembling. So, you know, hats off to them for, you know, gearing up already and getting ready to go. They've worked on Dan's car in the past, his fuel car, when we were, when Rob was helping tune it and things. So I think that, we need to be as perfect as we can, make sure that we have every piece and part, so that we can go out there and compete. Because like I said, we only have a short window. We don't have 24 or 23 races, 22, whatever there is. We
22.
have to,
22.
Yeah, we have to go out there and be perfect. And so, I want us to do that. I want to do it for Dan and for him, for just because he's given me this opportunity to come back out, and more importantly, to just make sure that we put the right foot forward and represent NHRA and all the fans and all the people that support us.
Thank you for watching the Capital Sports Report live. We appreciate Terry's time today, and this will be on our page for playbacks. And come back next week for an all new episode with a new guest. Thank you for your time today, Terry.
Thank you guys. And again, I can't thank you enough. I've known you guys for a long time. I can't thank you enough for all you do for the sport. And on top of what you've done for my family and myself, because you guys have been vital to us growing into sport. And, you guys, you just have this sixth sense that, hey, I think he's pushing media, and you guys are there, and you guys make the magic happen. So I can't thank you for that. Again, congratulations on hosting your first show. I think you did a great job, and I think it's only going to get better from here. So, we're going to keep watching now every week, and I got a Monday night date every day, so I'm good to go.
Well, we love you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be with us and giving us your time, and some secrets out there too. So thank you.
Okay. Thanks everyone. All the fans. Thank you so much, man. We love you guys. And, follow these guys. They do a great job. They do a great job at the racetrack, but this show is going to take off. So be sure to follow them. But again, thank you for everybody. Dan, I don't know if you're still out there, but thank you, your entire team, for coming on board and doing this. And, but more importantly, man, thank you to the fans, because God love you, man. We can't thank you enough.
Hi to Corey and Cam at home.
I will go tell them that. I'm in the shop. It's kind of quiet out here.